Do you think your business background helps you with campaigning? Like if you have you have to target, like say you need women from 25 to 40.
For years, Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show has made us laugh, dance, and feel right at home. But recently, something happened that no one saw and made fans question everything. Let's say that the man who has always been the life of the party has a darker side. Wait until you hear about the shocking turn of events that has people all over the world wondering, could this be the end of the Jimmy Fallon we knew? Stick around, because the truth might just surprise you. Jimmy Fallon's rise to fame. Jimmy Fallon's rise to fame shows how charismatic, funny, and able to connect with people from all walks of life he is. His career took off after he joined Saturday Night Live, and he quickly became one of the best acts on the show. Fallon was well-liked because he was naturally lively and charming. In his natural way, he was different from other comedians of his time, whether he was playing out funny routines or pretending to be famous people. Fallon's most well-known work on Saturday Night Live was co-hosting Weekend Update with Tina Fey. It was clear that they got along and their sarcastic banter became famous. People found Fallon very relatable because he could be funny and honest at the same time. He was more attractive because he had perfect comedic timing. He knew exactly when to stop or throw a punch. Besides being funny, he was also kind and laid back, which helped people relax. In 2009, Fallon took over as host of The Tonight Show from Jay Leno. People wondered how he would handle such big parts, but Fallon's new way of doing late-night TV quickly won over viewers. Even though he stuck to the show's customs, he brought a youthful energy and excitement that wasn't present in other late-night hosts. Younger and older watchers alike liked The Tonight Show because Fallon could mix funny and sad events. One of Fallon's best qualities has always been his ability to keep a wide range of guests and fans interested. Fallon has an amazing knack for making his guests feel at ease so they can really show who they are, whether they are viral hits or big stars. His show was a popular way to have fun because of this and his perfect comic timing. Fallon quickly became a favorite on late-night TV because of his smart and friendly style. He thought that because he was real and down-to-earth, he could make people laugh. His sincerity and sense of humor made him a fan favorite and solidified his place as one of the most important artists of his time. Is it possible that the man we've trusted for laughs is hiding a darker side? Let's get started. The first signs of trouble. A lot of people know Jimmy Fallon and like him, but over the years there have been rumors that things may not have been as easy behind the scenes as they seemed on TV. Some things that happened in Fallon's work made people wonder if there might be more to his story than meets the eye. People liked him because he was always happy and funny. One of these times was in 2017, when Fallon was attacked for how he interviewed Trump for the president. A lot of people thought Fallon didn't punish Trump because he liked making jokes and laughing with him instead of talking about his crazy ideas. Some fans said it was in line with the laid-back way Fallon interviews, while others wondered if his decision not to ask tough questions was more about politics or his own problems. Some people said Fallon wasn't making good use of his position, but Fallon and his staff quickly played down the complaint, and most people forgot about it. But this event was the first in a long line of mistakes that fans would later look back on. The next few years saw the start of rumors about Fallon's management style and how he dealt with peers. There were reports from behind the scenes that The Tonight Show was a toxic place to work. It was said that Fallon was picky and hard to work with at times. There were reports that Fallon's strict personality was affecting both his personal and professional life, but these rumors were never proven to be true. People who know Fallon well started to talk about her work hard, play hard attitude when her image of being fun and laid back started to show signs of stress. The people still saw Fallon as a smart and interesting performer, even with these random events. A lot of his fans either didn't believe the stories or figured they had something to do with how hard his work was. But now that we see it, we might question whether these reports were really signs of bigger problems that were being hidden. There were times when his job and fame were putting too much stress on him. Were these events unrelated to each other, or were they hints of something bigger going on? There might be more to the truth than what most people find out. The shocking incident unveiled. Jimmy Fallon has always been a funny guy that people like. That being said, not long ago, something shocked and stunned everyone. Some people thought that behind all the jokes and laughter, things might not have been as nice as they seemed. A big report said that Fallon's workplace wasn't as happy as it should be, which is how the show began. Some people who used to work for him say it wasn't always fun. Sometimes it was tough and demanding. People who used to work for his company were interviewed for the story, which was in a well-known magazine. They talked about uncomfortable times at work, or times when Fallon's mood would have changed quickly. People who liked them didn't think they'd do that since they were laughing the whole time. The episode got even more attention when Fallon responded in person. He accepted he was wrong and told everyone who was hurt that he was sorry. He said he would do better and work on making the place nicer. A lot of Jimmy Fallon fans were glad to hear this because they wanted to believe in the man they knew and loved. The answers were all over the place. People who backed Fallon said that everyone has bad days and that he or she should be given another chance. Some people felt let down because they thought the real guy was no longer there. Fallon's fans showed a range of feelings on social media, from worry to defense. The news media quickly picked up on the story and started to think about what it meant for Fallon's job and image. A lot of other well-known people spoke out too. Some people looked out for him, like his friends and people who had been on The Tonight Show before. They talked about how helpful and nice Fallon had always been. Some people didn't say anything though, which made others wonder what they knew. All over the world, people talked about Jimmy Fallon, but not in the normal way. Rather than making jokes, folks were asking him things. Was he just having a bad day? But was there more to the story? Everyone now sees Fallon differently because of this event. We start to believe that even if someone looks happy on the outside, they might be having trouble inside. Fans still pay close attention to their favorite late-night host and hope he can become the trustworthy person they used to know. The immediate fallout. There was a lot of talk about Jimmy Fallon right away, and it quickly changed both his personal and work life. It felt like a storm came out of nowhere for someone who was known for being a popular performer. The way NBC, which runs The Tonight Show, reacted was the first thing that changed. They responded right away and emphasized that they were dedicated to making the workplace friendly and helpful. That being said, they didn't directly address the claims made against Fallon. There was a lot of talk about whether the network was keeping him safe or just watching to see what would happen. Fans, on the other hand, broke up. Some people defended Fallon right away, saying that he had always seemed honest and that nobody is perfect. They talked about their favorite parts of his show and said that everyone should be nice. A lot of nice things were said about it on social media, but some people were even worse. People had a good opinion of Fallon for years, so the claims made them sad. They believed it was a breach of the trust they had in him as a public person. The news was crazy at the time. Every part of the story was given its own title, even Fallon's response to the claims made by former workers. Experts were called in by the news to say if he could get better or if this fight would be the end of his career. While more serious media looked into the problem of the way people work in Hollywood in general, tabloids tried to guess how this would affect his personal relationships. It was clear that Fallon couldn't handle the consequences. Even though he meant well when he said sorry, it didn't make things better right away. A lot of people told him that it was great that he admitted he had problems, but some said that wasn't enough. People in the business world, the journalists and his friends were all paying close attention to everything he said. He must have felt a lot of stress trying to handle things. The show itself had a hard time too. People who watched The Tonight Show were curious about whether the important subject would take away from the funny parts or make the show less interesting. The numbers were being closely watched because everyone was guessing how this would change how popular the show was. There were a lot of changes going on in Fallon's life at the moment. Some people believed this would wake him up and help his business make better choices. Some people were worried that it would ruin his image for good. It wasn't clear which would be better for Jimmy Fallon's job, and it was hard to guess what the future held. What happens when the bad side of a well-known star is made public? You might be shocked by the truth. The dark side of fame. Not long ago, Jimmy Fallon was involved in an incident, which is just one of many involving famous people that shows how closely people watch them. The recognition that comes with being well-known can help or hurt them. They get money, power, and attention when they are popular, but everything they do is seen by everyone. Many people form views about events they don't fully understand because of a single mistake or story that gets a lot of attention from the media. For people who are seen by a lot of people, being on all the time is very stressful. Folks always expect stars like Fallon to be fun, interesting, and likable. Since most people think things will go well, they can't have bad days or times when they feel weak. When you look at your flaws or mistakes through the narrow lens of fame, they stand out more. These are common flaws and mistakes that people make. The case of Fallon is a great example of this. Because of his position, things have been said about him that you might not hear at a regular job. Not the first time an artist has had this much trouble. Think about Ellen DeGeneres. Her job was also said to be dangerous. People knew her for the catchphrase, "Be kind," but the mean stories on her show made people afraid and hurt her reputation. Ellen handled the problem and kept her show going, but the affair was a big reason why it ended in the end. Another one is Kevin Hart. Tweets from the past that were made public after he was picked to host the Oscars got him into trouble. He told everyone he was sorry, but the trouble made him quit. There are times when well-known people have to pay a lot for mistakes they made a long time ago. People didn't like Will Smith as much after the famous slap event at the Oscars. He is one of the most respected actors in Hollywood. What could have been a private moment of sadness turned into a worldwide show. For weeks, his acts were talked about in the news. There were bad effects that could last for a long time and hurt his personal life and job. It might take years for him to get better. When famous people mess up, most people in the media take it very seriously. These things make this clear. As Robert Downey Jr. showed when he dealt with his own issues and changed careers, the response can sometimes lead to growth and making amends. The incident can make it harder for the star to move on. It can become a permanent part of their life. How quickly Fallon can get back on his feet will depend on how he deals with things from now on. Will he own up to his mistake and change, or will the argument make his good points less clear? Star scandals are interesting to read, but they show how hard it is to be popular. These things happen to show that everyone, even the most loved ones, has flaws and problems. People will choose whether to accept or criticize the star. They will also choose how to take the test. The fans' reaction. Fans of Jimmy Fallon are feeling a lot of different emotions because of his fight. He has been a comfortable part of their lives for years, someone who made them laugh and feel good after a long day. Now that the alleged toxic work environment behind the scenes of The Tonight Show has come to light, his fans are split into two groups, those who are still strongly loyal and those who are deeply disappointed. On the one hand, Fallon's loyal fans don't accept the claims. They believe that he is a good-hearted, fun-loving person who could not be responsible for making the workplace unpleasant. People who like Fallon have taken to social media to support him. They've posted heartfelt messages and talked about all the times he's gone out of his way to spread happiness. One fan wrote on a famous site, "Jimmy has always been about making people laugh and feel good. There's no way this is true." Others feel hurt and betrayed because the accusations have broken their view of Fallon. It's not just the claims, they also feel let down by someone they looked up to. A sad fan wrote online, "How can someone who seems so warm and real on screen let these things happen behind the scenes?" Also watching the conversation are people who aren't really fans of Fallon, but are interested in the argument. Many of these people are asking for accountability and stressing how important it is to be fair and professional at work, no matter what their public image is. Fan culture has a big impact on how these kinds of situations turn out. Fans can come together to support a celebrity, fighting back against bad press and helping to fix their image. At the same time, angry fans often make the problem worse by airing their complaints in public and calling for change. There is a tug-of-war going on here that can help or hurt a celebrity's reputation in the long run. What happens with Fallon will depend a lot on how he interacts with his fans during this tough time. Being honest and true could help rebuild trust, while being defensive or quiet could make things worse. Overall, this case shows how closely celebrities are connected to their fans, showing that how fans react can be just as important to a public figure's career as how the media covers them. The ripple effect on The Tonight Show. There is a fight over Jimmy Fallon, and it affects both him and The Tonight Show. The show is well known because of its host, who is one of the most famous late-night TV hosts ever. This event makes me wonder about its future and whether the effects will change its image for good. The public is a good idea right away. Many people have been watching The Tonight Show for years because it's fun, and Fallon's excitement is contagious. But because of all the claims, some fans may not know if they should keep watching the show. If less people watch, NBC may need to make changes to keep them. A lot of people in the network don't know that it might also need to deal with worker culture. People can't ignore these kinds of problems when they take a close look. To make sure the workplace is better in the future, NBC could either make the rules stricter or do an internal study. It's possible that these steps will lead to big changes in leadership or even in the way the program is set up. This will help it move on from the scandal. This also makes me wonder about the future of late-night TV in a bigger way. Shows like The Tonight Show are facing more danger from streaming services and web content these days. Because of this kind of talk, networks might have to change how they run these shows. Instead of having a charismatic host who is just one person, they could try something more cooperative or different. Some people in the business have said that this Tonight Show episode could be important. There have been bad times for the show in the past, but the media isn't as forgiving now as it was then. Because of social media, every fight is more open to everyone, and opinions change very quickly. The Tonight Show might need to find new ways to stay on the air and grow if it wants to keep its current fans and also talk about the issues this debate has brought up. Jimmy Fallon speaks out. People who liked and didn't like Jimmy Fallon were both interested in how he would react when the scandal broke. Fallon didn't deny the stories, instead he said sorry in public. Fallon wrote an honest post on social media in which he said he wasn't perfect and that he was sorry for any pain his team may have felt. After accepting what was said, he became the host of The Tonight Show and promised to make the place of work friendlier. It was clear from Fallon's voice and the words he picked that he was sorry and sorry for what he did. He told them how much he loved them and the show. He wanted everyone to know that he cared about them. Some of the claims were true, but he said that any damage done by mistake made him very sad. A lot of fans believed this answer, which showed that Fallon was ready to take the blame. Still, different people thought different things. People who agreed with him liked that he was ready to deal with the issue head-on, and that his apology seemed more sincere than fake. Some people said that everyone messes up, and they liked that Fallon said he would fix things. Some fans even used the phrase #West End with Jimmy to share stories about how nice and caring Fallon was to show their support for him. Critics, on the other hand, were not as kind. So they asked if the explanation was enough and said that words should be matched by deeds. Even though Fallon was nice and liked by many, not many people thought that was enough to show that the workplace wasn't risky. A lot of people told NBC to make sure that changes were made in the background. Fallon did give the right answer, but it hurt his reputation. The next thing that happens will either help or hurt his case. His apology could be the start of a new phase in his career if Fallon keeps his word and does something brave to make things better at work and boost morale. What if, though, nothing important is done? People might think that his words were empty, and that his apology was just an act to make things better. Lessons learned from the fallout. People who like Jimmy Fallon, write about him, and act have all thought a lot about the controversy. It makes a strong point. To deal with fame, you need more than skill or beauty. You need to be strong, honest, and responsible to handle the stress of being in public. This makes us think about how important it is for famous people to be honest in real life and on TV. One of the most important lessons this event shows is that people need to know how their actions affect other people. To have a good public image, you need to do more than just make people laugh or seem nice, as Fallon showed. Being honest and respectful to everyone, especially your staff, is also part of it. Stars are less likely to get into such a mess if they get along well with their teams. It's important for your job and your reputation to handle problems in a responsible and careful way. It's important to remember that the media affects how people think. When it's done right, investigative journalism is a very important way to make people answer for their actions. There is a risk, though, when the media try to make the news interesting instead of sharing the truth. Lots of news about Fallon drowned out the more important ones, like those about mental health, workplace culture, and how the entertainment business treats stars and workers. We need to find a better way to point out wrongdoing while still letting people grow and live in peace. The response from the public also makes us think about how easy it is to set impossible goals for celebrities. Fans should hold stars responsible for what they do, but they should also be given time to learn, grow, and make things right. Your idols can keep you from thinking and growing if you let them. People could create a toxic environment where flaws are highlighted instead of being seen as chances to grow if they don't question well-known people in a fair and caring way. There's no question that social media changes the way people think. Fans can now say what they think about their favorite stars more easily thanks to social media sites like Twitter and Instagram. But this power comes with a big responsibility. Fans should keep in mind that what they say has an impact on both the person in question and larger cultural discussions for a long time. These days, when everything is fast and trends go viral, people need to respond with thought to make the public discourse more positive and helpful. Fallon's career is at a crossroads. Can he fix his image and win back his fans' trust? The road ahead for Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon's emotional and professional future is still unknown, but there is hope. Fallon is at a changing point now that the most recent event is over. It's clear that people are criticizing and pushing back, but there are still chances to grow and pardon. The most important thing for him to do in the next few months and years is to fix his image and win back the trust of his friends and co-workers. Having said that, Fallon's career has been hurt, but it's not over yet. Late-night TV hasn't been the same without The Tonight Show for years, and Fallon's friendly attitude is a big reason for that. Still, the problem makes his great job as a host look bad. A lot of people are asking if this is the beginning of a new era for The Tonight Show. Recently, the show's ratings have been going up and down, especially since digital content creators and streaming services are becoming a bigger threat. One thing that could happen for Fallon is that he could find forgiveness. There is a lot of this in the entertainment business. Some people give stars who have been in scandals a second chance if they show they are sorry and want to change. Fallon could get back on track if he honestly changes how he acts and how things work at work after this chance to think about what he did wrong. In redemption stories, people may need to both say they're sorry in public and do certain things to make things right. The figure might have to do things like clean up the backstage area and talk to his fans in public. He might even have to use his fame to support causes like mental health and fair pay at work. You can find Fallon doing things besides The Tonight Show, like comedy shows or dating other stars. These would help him get back in front of a bigger audience and get away from the bad press that happened. Fallon needs to look at the big picture to make things right. There were more than one mistake in the debate. It taught us that fame, power, and effect come with big responsibilities. Fallon needs to show that he is more than just a funny TV host. He also needs to show that he is a good business leader. People say that he is nice and easy to get along with. It will take time, and you might need to take a break from the stage to grow. Being careful with it is important, but you might come out stronger in the end. If Fallon wants to fix things, he needs to do more than just talk about them. As long as he can do this, The people listening might understand him better than he thought. This situation could be the wake-up call Fallon needs. People in the public eye, especially those who work late, are often so focused on their jobs that they forget how what they do affects the people who are close to them. If Fallon is like most people, now might be a good time to think about what's important in life besides TV. He could think more deeply about himself, find a better balance between work and life, and make it more important to him that the people he loves are kind and honest. It will be just as important for Fallon's personal growth as it is for his healing at work. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to click on the next video popping up on your screen for more exciting content.